Well, I think he is.
Yeah, my kid's in a booster seat. He was ready to move up. He is ready, right?
Her car seat looks like the right size.
There are probably rules on when to move up to a booster seat, aren't there?
Rear facing, forward facing. I think I have it right.
Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat.
I know my child's in the right car seat, or else I wouldn't get in the driver's seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Little roller up along first. Behind the back. It gets no up there. Here comes Knight in the next win. See you in Pittsburgh. Can't wait. All about it. Out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. Looking, throwing in the end zone.
You're tuned into Game On with Josh Silverberg and Eric Bowe. Talking all things sports. It's
Game on! Yeah, game on!
Game On, right here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
And I forgot my mic. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in every single Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Silverberg, my co-host, Eric Bowe, and of course, on the board, the man himself, Speedy Petey.
Is that a new hairnet?
Definitely not a hairnet. It's my golf hat that I usually wear. This is what happens when you're home. You're wearing a golf. You wear your golf. I went golfing a few weeks ago, so.
Oh my Atlanta!
The number to call. Well, listen, it's a Callaway too. It's not cheap, so we'll leave it at that. The number to call 203-470-0918. 203-470-0918 is the number to call. You could check us out on worldwidesportsradio.com, on Instagram, on YouTube, and so much more. A lot to get into. Aaron Rodgers says he's going to come back next year. Is that a benefit for the New York Jets? Are the Kansas City Chiefs a very flawed undefeated team? We'll discuss that. Great game tonight, by the way. Commanders, Eagles. We'll talk about that as we make our picks for this week. We'll spend a little more time on that.
That's going to be one of the games you pick tonight, Joshua.
Has to be 100%. I think, honestly, with the way everything is going, there's not much sports news to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think we could probably maybe do the whole week this week. I was talking to Speedy about it. We could probably do the whole week this week in regards to the week 11 because there's a couple of good games going on. We'll discuss the college football playoffs and the matchups. Who are the real ones and who are the frauds? Because everybody and their mother makes the playoffs now in college football. We'll discuss that. And then, of course, the You're Better Than That segment. But, Eric, first off, how are you, my friend? Everything good?
Happy Thursday. Another week almost winding down. Sports still in full throttle. Great Thursday night matchup tonight.
I tell you, it's been a while. Amazon hasn't had that in a while. It'll be nice that Al Michaels will actually be alive for it and be motivated because, he complains about every week. Understandably so. I mean, he had to do back-to-back weeks for the Jets and the Giants, so that was brutal for him.
That's right.
And everything like that. But, of course, we have a lot to discuss. And let's start with the Aaron Rodgers news that came out. Aaron Rodgers saying that he wants to come back next year. He's got, I believe, 2 more years on his deal, if I'm not mistaken, Speedy. I could be wrong about that.
I think it's like one with like the extra incentive built in.
Yeah, which we knew he was going to do because of the money that he's going to get. He's still going to get all of it.
Well, Josh, let me ask you this before we're going to dive into it, and I'll lead you into it. But is this the year that should have happened last year? Is this all right, Aaron Rodgers, first year with the team, getting all the snaps, getting used to guys. I mean, granted, he's got his guys that he could ever want, right? But is this like what the first year should have been like?
I would say 100% yes. Here's the reason why it's not. It's pretty simple. It's clearly you could see him not playing football for a year. Number one. Number two, the offensive line is still not great.
Defensive line?
And the defensive line's been atrocious because they let John Franklin Myers go, who's crushing it with Denver. They let Bryce Huff go, who's been non-existent in Philadelphia because Vic Fangio doesn't know how to use him.
Mm-hmm.
And they let all those guys go for Javon Kinlaw and Hassan Reddick, which has been an absolute disgrace and gross and horrible.
Give Reddick some time. He hasn't really played yet.
It's the season's over anyway. There's no time. He's not going to be back.
Joe
Douglas.
Can they turn it around? What do they have to do to turn this around?
Well, I think what was interesting was Joe Douglas's comments today because usually GMs, they meet in the middle of the season. And Joe Douglas basically said the other day when he talked about, do you worry about your job status? And Joe Douglas basically said, whatever happens, happens. That sounds like a guy to me that knows he's not coming back.
But what about head coach-wise too? Obviously interim coach right now.
I don't care that Rodgers gave him the vote of confidence. I can care less. You can clearly see that them firing Robert Saleh, albeit Robert Saleh was not a good coach, they should have fired Saleh before the season started. Now what you did was you're doing this in the middle of the season, and now you're giving all the duties to Ulbrich. What we're also starting to see is the flaws of Jeff Ulbrich, because this leads me to believe that it was not Ulbrich as the good defensive coordinator. Saleh was the good defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
And this is this is why the Saints just did this too.
Yep.
And Speedy, I don't know if you agree with me as well.
I couldn't stand Dennis Allen.
Well, so the thing is, most of the time when you get an interim coach, you'll usually pick either a position coach or a special teams coordinator because you don't want to disrupt the coaching method of everybody that's around you. That's usually what. Am I right or wrong about that?
The funny thing is, they had that on their roster the whole time, and it was Dan Campbell.
Well, I mean, it was a matter, So to me, with the Jets, I think Brent Boyer would have been fine as the interim head coach. You're not disrupting any of the stuff around the team, and instead they went to go straight defensive guy with Ulbrich, which a lot of people were talking around the circles. He was going to get a job at some point, but you're disrupting everything. You're disrupting his duties and everything like that.
Josh, I don't care if you have Harbaugh as the head coach. I don't care if you have Dable as the head coach. I don't care if you have Belichick as the head coach. The players have to perform still. You see Adams dropping touchdown passes. You see the line not blocking. You're losing the trenches both offensively and defensively. Rodgers can't run, so any kind of scramble is not.
It's a lot of flaws with this team. We could do a whole show. We could do an entire show and everything.
They're not tackling. What's the fundamental tackling?
I mean, that's a great point. Literally, Jeff Ulbrich said, and I quote, "The Jets have to return to fundamentals of tackling this week." Dude, it's week 11. You can't tackle? I mean, here's what I'm saying. They're going to keep the same team next year. This is what they're going to do. They're going to have a new GM. They're going to have a new coach. I'm curious who the coach is going to be. I think they need to, I just don't know I don't think a Ben Johnson or something like that is going to want to come in here and be working with Rodgers. Now, again, LaFleur came into Green Bay and worked with Rodgers, so maybe he was. I think it's going to be a veteran coach. The only defensive coach that I would hire, and I want an offensive guy. The only defensive coach I would want to hire is Aaron Glenn, because what Aaron Glenn is to the Jets, he was a Jet for a very long time. He was drafted by them. He played with them for years. He knows the organization. He will take pride, like DeMeco Ryans with the Texans, will take pride in being the coach of a team that drafted you.
That's fair.
And you were with the team and everything like that. That's the only guy I will take. If you're going to go veteran, you'll call Belichick. I think they'll give Vrabel a call too. I think another name that will be out there, Speedy, your ears might want to be perked up for this one. And I think he is going to be available after the season. And that's Brian Dable. I think Brian Dable would be a fascinating guy to go with Rodgers.
No, here's why you're wrong with that last one. Okay. The Giants, after the season, I think finally, or at least they try, to get their quarterback, right? I mean, if it's this year, especially right now, you're the number 1 pick. So that means basically right now.
We'll see if that lasts, but yes.
Correct. But right now, that's who it probably Ewers out of Texas, right?
Not number 1 pick worthy. though.
I mean, I will tell you this. You want to know something? You want my honest opinion? You want to know what the Giants should do? And it's going to be controversial if they have the number 1 pick. They should draft Travis Hunter. And then if they're so bad the next year, then you take Arch Manning. That's what they should do. Because then you'll have Manning.
That's what I'm saying.
You'll have Hunter and Neighbors as your 1 and 2 receiver.
You can't.
Speedy's so hyped about this. He wants this so bad.
You cannot go into next season with Daniel.
And then you guys will sign Dion as the head coach of the New York Giants. Let's go.
Where's his mute?
You know what? You're not going to do. You're going to take Shador.
Where's the mute button?
You're going to take Dion in.
Unbelievable. Unreal.
That's what you're going to do.
Unbelievable.
You're going to draft Shador, and you're going to sign Dion as your head coach. Listen, say what you will.
The Raiders are going to do that.
No. I think if the Cowboys are so bad, I think Dion might be a Dallas Cowboy. That could definitely happen.
You were
And
scared.
then here's what I think could happen. They'll draft Shador, and they'll try to trade Prescott. You watch. Or they'll trade Travis Hunter. Or they'll draft Travis Hunter, Dallas.
Well,
I bet you Sanders will be in that conversation as head coach of the Cowboys next year. You watch.
I'm
It will
sure.
happen. I hope it happens. I hope that they will eat him. I just want to see the Sanders and the Jerry Jones post games back to back. That is Oscar worthy.
You know what? I don't mind that. You're right.
That's right there. Make it happen. Let's go.
Good. As long as not the Giants.
No, but I John Gruden was another name I thought about for a time.
But what happened to Gruden?
He signed with Barstool. But again, he could always opt out of that. But again, it's apparently a humongous deal that he's getting from Barstool now. But we'll see. We'll see what the Jets do. Woody's still going to run the coaching search until he goes overseas again. He has been picked to be in Trump's cabinet again. So his brother will be running the team again. Joy, yippee. The last time he had a coaching search, Christopher, was Adam Gase. Great. So we'll have that as dysfunction meets moron, so. But to me, listen, the thing about the Rodgers situation, there's no free agent quarterbacks that are out there. There's no quarterbacks in this draft that are worthy. Sanders, Ewers, Milroe is probably the only guy, but there's just nobody.
Josh,
This draft class is bad.
let me ask you this. From a Jets perspective, a Jets fan, all that fun stuff, right? I'm gonna name a player. You let me know if they're having an average season, above average, or below average season for their talents.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll start with Rodgers.
Oh, way below average.
Okay. How about Breece Hall?
Below average.
Okay. Devontae Adams.
He's only broken 3 tackles for the whole season, which is that is incredible.
Okay, Devontae Adams.
Below average too.
Garrett Wilson.
He's having a great season. Isn't he Speedy? You know this. Isn't he number 1 in the league in yards?
Jamar Chase is
Where is he ranked, Garrett Wilson?
4th, 5th.
Yeah, he's still having a good season, Wilson.
Ross Gardner.
Oh, God, way below average. I would think about trading him in the offseason. I'm serious.
Quinton Williams.
Below average. He's no. He's
Bingo.
come on the last 3 weeks.
So let me ask you that. Now, is that the
Quincy's actually the better one? Who would have thought that?
But is that coaching's fault? Is that coaching's fault? That
I don't know what it is.
7 top guys are playing below average. Is that coaching fault?
I think it's a mix of everybody, and I think it's the fact that it's accountability between these guys.
It trickles
I feel
down.
like
100% it trickles down. But think about it. We just named their top guys, the guys who should be all Pro Bowl teams, all NFL, whatever, right? Those guys are having below average seasons. Breece Hall should be a top, 4 running back easily?
I know.
He's.
Joe Mixon's doing better than him this year.
I like how you brought that up. I don't know why, but I like how you brought that up. There's a few, but think about it. Between him, offensively and defensively, the guys are not performing as they should. Right? They've taken not one step back from last season, but two. Right? If you put a healthy Rodgers on the team last year, obviously Breece Hall carried the team late.
Yeah, I don't know why he was better post Achilles last year than this year breaking tackle. I don't know what's going on with him.
That's what I'm saying.
Sure. I don't know.
Is it a coaching carousel and it's just having a trickle effect?
I think what they need is first off, they need a real offensive mind in this room. And number two, they need to fire Keith Carter.
Or was
it like Tyron Smith is a Hall of Fame left tackle, and all of a sudden he's like second in the league in most sacks allowed this year. But it's not a coincidence that Keith Carter gets ridiculed everywhere he goes, and every team.
The trickle effect. You know, think about it. You just named all of the top talent the Jets have, all having below average seasons.
Mm-hmm.
When
you look on paper, there should be a 12-win team.
And you're talking about Rodgers, who has
if they actually had a good quarterback, it'd be nice.
Rodgers, who has Devontae Adams.
It's kind of funny I say that because he's actually having a better season than Mahomes. It's funny, but yes, go on.
But that's my point. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just the coaching. There's a lot more into it that obviously is really hurting. You know?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of problems. There's a lot of flaws. It's going to be a fascinating offseason. I did not like what Brian Costello said in the New York Post today. He says he would not be surprised if Matt Nagy is one of the finalists for the job. If Matt Nagy, I'm gonna go on Joe Beningo. Bro, are you freaking kidding me with this? You're telling me that Matt Nagy's gonna get them over the hump? Bro, the pain.
What about Matt Rule?
No, stop. But dude, honestly, I'm not kidding. And Speedy, timestamp this. Save this.
Oh no! Right now I'm sending it. Right now I have to find that article and send it to Carl, so he gets a kick out of it.
Save the audio. What I'm about to say. Save the audio.
I'll save the seats. You know that.
Save it. If the Jets hire Matt Nagy as the next head coach, I'm done. I'm out.
Whoa. Where are you going? Where are you going?
I'm just going to be an independent football observer. I'm out.
Giants or Bills?
None. I'm out. Completely out. I'm just going to watch Red Zone every week.
You gotta have a team.
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I'm just so done. I'm done with the ineptitude and the foolishness of a moron in Woody Johnson who should sell the team. By the way, sending out surveys to season ticket holders about how the season's going. What?
This would be the season to make you quit the fandom? This season, out of all the seasons?
No. I said, listen, if they hire Matt Nagy as the head coach, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
No, it didn't matter when Adam Gase was hired. That was okay.
It was pretty close. But here's the thing: I knew the Jets were going to suck.
All right, so
but the difference is the Jets actually have a semblance of talent on this team, and you hire Matt Nagy as the head coach.
If that happens, I'll get you the application to join a bandwagon team.
I'm done. Nope, I'm out.
Who would you root for?
I wouldn't root for anybody. I told you I'd be an independent football observer.
Yeah, okay.
IFO. I'll root for Switzerland.
Lame. Come on.
I can't do it anymore.
Just choose the worst.
I can't do it anymore. I cannot deal.
What are the expectations? What are the expectations?
If they hire Matt Nagy, I'm done. I'm done.
No way.
What does that moron deserve a job for?
All right, so when you say you're done, let's say I'll still watch them on Sundays. I'll still
I'll watch. No.
Still buy the jerseys.
I'll watch Red Zone. Nope.
I'll still buy the jersey. And
have you seen me wear a Jet jersey this year?
Yes.
Have you seen me wear a Jet shirt this year?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. You're smiling and saying that. When? Tell me.
Remember that time we went to the place together?
No, what place? What place?
We were all together, family and everything. We went to the place. We were all together.
It's a made-up story. It's ridiculous. I don't. Yeah, I'll wear Met stuff, Rangers, and Knicks. Because here's the reason. The Mets have an ownership group that has a plan in place. The Rangers and the Knicks, Dolan's an idiot. But he has stayed out of the way, and he has let his guys do the job.
And they're doing well.
Woody Johnson, forget the worst owner in New York. He's one of the worst owners in professional sports right now.
Wow.
Because the fact that he fired the head coach going over the GM to do it is, why would any executive want to take that job if you're not going to? With Christopher, you'll get that opportunity. With Woody, you will not.
Wait, so
he's power hungry.
Is that worse than letting your GMs let maybe Saquon walk and keep Jones?
At least he lets the GM do his job. At least he lets the GM do the job.
Listen, it's working.
I mean, Woody Johnson should just stick to trying to make Q-tips.
It's looking
and stop sticking your nose in the football team.
Listen, Jerry Jones is an owner GM. Look how well it's working out.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's won 4 Super Bowls. I mean, but he also fired Jimmy Johnson for Barry Switzer. That was a disaster.
And he let Jason Garrett coach for 8 years.
Yeah, he did do it. And he might let McCarthy keep going.
Oh, no, they're hiring Deion Sanders.
That's right. They're hiring Deion and Shador. It's a combo deal. And then Deion's going to come, how about the Cowboys? And then they're going to be like 3-10. And then Jerry, we're happy with Deion. We're happy with him. You know, balls. And everything like that. Let's get into the Kansas City Chiefs really quickly. They're an interesting team. They are what now?
Whoa, hold on. We're talking Chiefs. We have to talk about a huge injury news to them that was just announced today.
Oh, yeah, Harrison Butker. Yep, he's going to be out for a couple months. You reap what you sow, I guess, from what he said before the year started.
They signed?
Who they signed from the Jets?
Mm-hmm. After getting
No, I wish. Let me tell you, all seriousness, really quickly. If Greg Zuerlein hit those field goals, they just probably have 4 or 5 more wins than they do. Am I right or wrong?
The Broncos
win. Patriots win. Buffalo, at least they go to overtime. There was a fourth one. There was a fourth one somewhere.
Josh, you know what happened in those games, though, too?
I said Patriots. Broncos.
Matt Nagy was in attendance in those games.
Yes, because he missed 2 field goals with the Buffalo game. They would have won that game. The Buffalo game, the Bronco game, the Patriot game, and there was a fourth one. But that's 3 wins. The season is so different. Greg Zuerlein, you moron.
Don't they still have 2 games against the Dolphins this year so far, too?
Yeah, they're going to get killed in those games, too. Doesn't matter. Because Sauce can't stop. Just give the ball to Tyreek Hill. Yards after the catch. I mean, so anyway, back to the Chiefs. Injury news, and it's interesting because with the Chiefs, I still have my doubts with them. I mean, the fact that they blocked Lux's field goal last week, a 30. I mean, are you kidding me? Nope. You're telling me the Chiefs got that break? I mean, that was.
You go on, and then I'll explain why you're wrong. But go ahead.
All right, go ahead. Look at Patrick Mahomes' numbers this year.
Go on, and then I'll explain.
He has. Look at this. Look at this. This season, 69.5 completion percentage, which is actually higher than his normal, but 9 interceptions this year to 12 touchdowns. That, to me, I find fascinating. Now, they just brought in Kareem Hunt back. They just brought in DeAndre Hopkins. They're getting Juju Smith-Schuster, so they're getting weapons. But every game for them this year has been tight. I don't know. And it's funny, we say this, right? The Chiefs, this is the year they're going to fall off, the year they're going to fall off, the year they're going to fall off. And then every year, it was the same thing as last year, right? We said it in the ball. I said, as annoying, I'm chiefed out. I'm done with them. Chiefed out with it. I have a lot of respect for Mahomes, man. The guy is as good as anybody in the league with what he does with his legs and his arm and his awareness and his pocket presence. And you give him the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter and he makes things happen. But I'm sick of the referees always fixing the games with them. And I'm even more tired of them sneaking out wins every single week. And the truth of the matter is, they're going to get home field probably in the postseason. Now, you look at the AFC, there's going to be challenges. You have Buffalo, who Buffalo's never been able to beat them in the playoffs. Baltimore can't beat them in the playoffs. Pittsburgh's got Russell Wilson. They're another one that I don't even know what to think about them. The Chargers, are they really going to scare you? I know they have Harbaugh now. Is there, and then Houston's just so banged up. Is there really anybody that could challenge? Now, before the season, I had Kansas City and Detroit in the Super Bowl. And I said I picked the Lions to win the Super Bowl, and I still believe that. Getting Zadarius Smith was huge for the Lions to replace Aiden Hutchinson. But it's just so irritating that come on. They're blocking a 31-yard field goal. And I'm just like, that's another sneak out win they get.
Chief magic.
It's every single week with this
Right,
team.
so Josh, you just named the teams that they'll probably go against or could go against in the playoffs. What team has you like, oh wow, yeah, they could beat them? None.
Honestly, I would probably say Buffalo, but Buffalo's never been able to beat them.
I don't think Buffalo has enough offensive
defensively. Yeah, defensively they're a little challenged.
And now also too, Travis Kelce after Rashee Rice had gone down with that injury. What is Kelce doing? Destroying it.
Yes, yeah.
Being that blanket, being that go-to guy, right? He's still involved tremendously. Kareem Hunt is having a resurgence again. The offensive line, the defensive line is playing very well.
And now you get Smith-Schuster back this week.
And now
Hopkins.
Now you're winning in the trenches, right? The complete opposite of the Jets that we were talking about. You're winning in the trenches.
Well, you also have a much better coach, but yes.
You have guys who are going out, doing their job, doing what they need to do. And you know what? On that blocked field goal, let's think about it. One guy blocked it, but how many guys could have or should have blocked it as well?
I agree with you. The entire the entire offensive line just had a meltdown.
But guess what? The Chiefs are a team that do not take any plays off.
No,
right?
I agree.
Spagnuolo in the playoffs, I tip my hat to him. You know,
he's fantastic. I'm amazed.
You're
he
saying
hasn't got another job again.
Is going to run out. The team they're not going to three-peat. I say, you know what? Until it happens, they're the team to beat. You saw.
Well, of course they have to be.
All right, now to play the opposite of what you talked about with Detroit. Detroit absolutely looks phenomenal, but I guess what? They were exposed against the Texans. The Texans ran out of gas, took the foot off the pedal, got 5 interceptions. Some his fault, some not, but still, the Texans just gave you the recipe of how to beat Detroit, right? If there's a team that can do that and keep their foot on the pedal, it's the Chiefs, especially with their defense. Again, you're winning through the trenches, and that's what the Chiefs do. So to say, oh, their magic is going to run out, everything is going to run out, I can't go that far yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either. I thought it was going to be last year. Last year was the opportunity when they were on the road.
And I mean, think about it.
They were on the road in Buffalo and they won. They were on the road in Baltimore and they won.
You just saw, granted, a banged up 49ers team, but they made Purdy look what in that game? Pretty pedestrian.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely,
Right?
they did.
You know, Mahomes had a great game against a good defense. San Fran has a very good defense. Mahomes had a good game. Now you're bringing in Hopkins, and you're giving Hopkins time to gel. You know who I think could be a big second half receiver for the Chiefs? You saw it in the first game, everything he can do.
Xavier Worthy.
Uh-huh. Watch him have a breakout second half of the season, similar to Rashee Rice last year.
I agree. They have weapons. Yeah.
Gelling.
Yeah, and they have weapons all over the place now. Yeah, they have weapons. Again, when you get healthy, and this is the thing about football, you get Smith-Schuster back. You got Hopkins, Kelce. Hunt is playing well. They're gonna get Pacheco back at some point.
Bingo.
So
That's
I mean, yeah,
so you're talking about the magic running out, and
they're gonna get home field again.
You're saying the worst. What is it? 8-0, 9-0, 10-0 team, basically, right?
I only say it because I think every game has been tight. That's the only reason why.
But guess what? That's the difference between a good team and a bad team. Is finding those ways to win the game. right? Detroit last week, same thing. The good teams find a way to win. They're doing that.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. All right, you want to get into our Week 11 picks?
Oh, let's do it.
All right.
I want to see why you're wrong.
You ready? Mm-hmm. All right, let's get that music cranking and up and running, and we'll do them. All right. The first game of the week. Big game tonight, by the way. Prime is thrilled. And they did early Prime, by the way. The Washington Commanders at the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are favored by 4. The over-under is 40. Why is it cut off? What is the over-under? 49.5 is the over-under. Interesting game. Commanders coming off a very tough loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. We saw what happened, everything like that. They jumped off sides on the punt. It was a bad job. Jay Daniel still looks good. The Eagles, to me, are still a very flawed team. I don't trust Sirianni and everything of that nature, but they're getting right. Saquon Barkley's having an amazing season. I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm actually being serious. He is having a really, really, really good season and everything like that. The Eagles are home.
And give us a score, too.
Oh, man.
Let's see what you think in this game.
It's going to be high. I think it's going to be high scoring. I think it's going to be like a 34-31 kind of game. It's going to be a crazy game. I'm going to go with the Commanders tonight with the upset.
Third,
yeah.
All right, here's why you're wrong. Who is tackling Barkley? I don't know. And you know what? It's going to be a high-scoring game. Both offenses flying high, doing what they do. Terry McLaurin's you're going to see Terry McLaurin get a nice deep ball in the end zone itself. You're going to see Dallas Goedert security blanket Hurts need tonight. I'm definitely taking the over easily, but I'm taking the Eagles 31-27.
Got it. Who is banging on the door? Is that Chris? It's up to Chris. Oh, man. All right. So he's taking the Eagles. I'm taking the Commanders. Jaguars at the Lions. I mean, maybe do we need to discuss anything else? I'm going to go with the Lions in this one. They're 14-point favorites. It's crazy. It's an easy one. The Jaguars are a mess. I think Mac Jones is playing again this week. Give me the Lions. Easy peasy.
How is that one we're picking? Easily. Let's give the best team in the NFC against one of the worst teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I know. Right?
As usual. Detroit rolls. Detroit plays even better than last week because they're mad about how poor they played last week.
100%. Yep. Packers at the Bears. This is where the Packers put the final nail in the coffin for the Bears. The Bears shouldn't. Again, Eberflus is a terrible coach. I said it before the season started. And I still don't trust Caleb Williams. He's a very soft individual with his feelings. Apparently, a lot of players on the Bears are not happy with him and the way he's gone about things. This was my concern. Give me the Packers.
Easily. Same thing. I mean, I don't know. I mean, defense, I'll give them some credit. They're playing pretty well. But the offense, man, they got to get something going. Swift, line, DJ Moore. They need something. I don't think this is the week they get it going. I agree.
Nope.
Packers win it easily.
Vikings at the Titans. Did we say more? Vikings in this one, easy peasy.
To me, this is like, all right, which defense and team in the NFC North are going to have?
Although Darnold has struggled lately, by the way. Not been good.
But who's stopping Jefferson?
Nobody.
Okay.
Nobody.
Aaron Jones, I think he has a great game. Helps open up the passing game, takes some of the pressure off of Darnold. Easily Vikings. I would say at least a two touchdown win.
So this was the game I thought that was going to be, flexed out for the Sunday Night Football game, but I guess CBS didn't allow it. The Baltimore Ravens at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ravens are 3.5-point favorites. Russell Wilson coming off a okay game. The big touchdown pass to Mike Williams. He stepped on the red line. Good for him. Smart. And then you have the Baltimore Ravens who are starting to feel themselves. Lamar's looking like Lamar, the MVP favorite right now. I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens in this one. I like the Steelers defense, but I think the Ravens, to me, are feeling themselves on offense right now. Give me the Ravens.
You know what? This one's tough because Steelers defense has been phenomenal, right? They've been playing way above average. TJ Watt causing havoc on every quarterback. The defenders kind of looking and playing defensive backs playing well. I kind of see this. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago when the Steelers played the Cowboys? That ugly kind of game. That's how I see this game going. And again, I see it as a Steeler loss though, with Baltimore coming out ahead, kind of on maybe like a last-second score. But this game has remnants all over of what we saw them against the Cowboys a couple of weeks back.
The next game, this is Raiders at the Dolphins. Maybe say more. Give me the Dolphins.
This is tricky.
Oh, God.
This is tricky. Gardner Minshew is starting again.
Yeah, I don't know how that's tricky.
Right? You're getting rid of some of the coaching staff. We've seen this before. We've seen a terrible Raiders team shake up the coaching staff and all of a sudden be a lot different of a team. Right? Miami, their defense is scaring who right now? Upset of the week, Joshua. Upset of the week. The Raiders over the Dolphins. Game-winning field goal.
Rams at the Patriots. Rams coming off a tough loss on Monday Night Football to the Miami Dolphins at home. I think this is a bounce-back spot for them. Get themselves right. Drake May looks really good, but I think the Rams I think they have a shot at the postseason here with Nakua, Cooper Kupp, Kyron Williams, and, of course, Matthew Stafford. Still okay. Not what he was 3 or 4 years ago, but okay enough. Give me the Rams. I like them in this one at the 4.5.
Hey, Rams are getting healthy. Rams are getting healthy. And watch out. If that Ram team gets healthy, I don't think their defense is at that level that it should be at yet or what it needs to be that elite team. But they're still a good team. And the Patriots, they're very well disciplined. They have a good coach. The defense is pretty good. But I don't see how they have enough on that defense to stop Kupp, Nakua, and Williams easily. Give me the Rams by 10.
Colts at the Jets. This is a fascinating one.
And who's the Colts, Joshua?
Anthony Richardson is back starting for the Colts. I do not trust this Jets team at all. I do not. I would 100% take the +4 for the Colts. I don't know. I don't know how the Jets are going to stop Jonathan Taylor. Can't tackle. Give me the Colts on the road.
Listen.
Who's tackling Taylor?
If I showed you how many
Don't
times
show me anything. It's not worth it.
I've been bit on the behind for taking the Jets in games that they should win, could win, would have won, but have not, there would be too many scars for me to sit down. So you know what? I still want to sit down. And it's so tough. But I think with Richardson coming back, I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. Right? You just mentioned Taylor, Josh Downs, Pittman. I see this as a similar game the Jets have played earlier in the season against the Broncos, where it's like, oh, all right, this is a trap game. Yeah, we have the Broncos. We got them. We got this. Except I think the Jets do it this time. I really do.
Browns at the Saints.
We're going to tackle.
Browns at the Saints.
Tackle.
This is a tough one. God, both teams are so bad. But then again, the Saints are feeling themselves. They got a nice win. They're at home. I like the Saints in this one. They're confident. They didn't disrupt their coaching staff. That's what a smart organization does. Not that the Saints are all that, but they're, have a noggin.
Josh,
give me the Saints.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm going to go grab a coin real quick, and I'm going to go flip it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
I would do.
I mean, is this not the perfect mirror image of that Spider-Man meme pointing to each other? I mean, that's what it seems like. Does Winston know this defense from being there for a couple of years? Possibly. Right? Can Marquez Valdez-Scantling repeat his performance of last week? Maybe. Does Kamara have a decent day? Or does Garrett, get a hold of him each and every time? Maybe. It's this one's tough to predict. I think the basically comes down to the defense because I think the offense will probably be a push. Give me the Browns on a late second field goal.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, it's tough. Seahawks at the 49ers. Seahawks are struggling so badly right now. 49ers are getting healthy. They're at home. They're beginning to get their mojo back. They're starting to feel themselves. I don't know if Arizona's playing great right now. I think both teams will get in, but I like the 49ers in this one. Seattle's a mess. Geno's not the guy. They need to search for a new quarterback. Give me the 49ers.
Do you know what the biggest takeaway I thought was in that 49er game last week, Josh?
That they were able to the fight between Debo and the long snapper?
Not that was part of it. But look at the usage of CMC and Jordan Mason. Look at that, the big discrepancy in that usage. If CMC's coming back in his first game, he's getting basically 90-10 touches almost?
Yeah.
Guess what? I'm pretty sure CMC is back. And when CMC is on that field, you have Debo, you have Juwan Jennings, you have Ricky Purcell coming out of nowhere and being another.
Listen, he was a first-round pick, Purcell. No slouch.
And guess what? That defense led by Fred Warner.
Yep. Nick Bosa. Yeah.
I think the 49ers here to talk about Detroit being the best team in the NFC, and I think that bothers them.
Sure.
This is definitely going to be one of those statement games.
Yeah.
You start with your division and you move on. Watch this. 49ers going to turn it on. Starts this week.
Falcons at the Broncos. Boy, oh boy. Atlanta coming off tough one last week. They're on the road in Denver. I'm going to take Atlanta still because I do believe Kirk Cousins will have a bounce back. The team will have a bounce back. That was a rough one against the Saints last week, but they'll bounce back. I know they got to travel to the West Coast. It's tough. But I still believe in this Atlanta offense. There's too much talent on this offense and not put together. I'll take the Falcons and I'll take the points.
Agreed. I think Cortland Sutton unfortunately gets shut down this week. Right? Atlanta's defense, the defensive backs, they're playing phenomenal. Right? You have Bijan. After you get a nice heaping and dose of Bijan, they bring Algier in and nice 1-2 combo. Darnell Mooney might not play.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens there. That's key right there. That's huge. Right? I just don't think the Broncos offense has enough to keep them in this game. I think finally the Falcons kind of put it together. They score maybe 20, roughly, or maybe somewhere around there. But I don't think the Broncos have the weaponry to keep up with that. I think once Atlanta gets the lead, things change and they stay with the victory.
And the game of the week. Chiefs, Bills. Bills favored by 2. Over under in this one, want to discuss this directly, is 46. Boy, if this is the time for the Bills to make a statement against the Chiefs, this is the time. Everything like that.
And do they, though?
That's what the question is. Will Amari Cooper be playing? All that stuff. I'm not sure. We'll find out. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. I think they'll find a way to edge it out against Buffalo. They always have Buffalo's number. Josh Allen has a tough time against them. He still has not been able to beat Patrick Mahomes, but maybe he shocks this year. Give me the Chiefs.
Here's the tricky part. You have Amari Cooper, a little banged up, wrist injury. Keon Coleman, I'm pretty sure, is not playing in this game. Curtis Samuel, what's he doing so far? Not much.
Is Dalton Kincaid going to play?
Exactly. I think that is the biggest Achilles heel in this.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of
is
injuries.
not having the talent you need to beat the Chiefs team. Playoff time, we'll see what happens. We'll see what healthier team is there come playoff time. Because I do think they'll see each other again. This matchup this early in the season, this is a nice okay, let's see what you got. I don't think the Chiefs pull out all the full playbook against them. I think they kind of limit it just to show them certain looks for this, potential matchup. I think they do enough. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Unfortunately, with the Bills not healthy enough in this game.
Sunday Night Football. Bengals at the Chargers. Cincinnati's a mess. I think the season's done for them. They have no running game. This is what happens when you let Mixon go. They traded him to Houston. This was a problem. Their defense has not been up to par like it normally is. Something's off with this team. T. Higgins, he's been hurt. He's going to be a free agent. Jamar Chase wants to be paid just as much as Justin Jefferson. Chargers are looking good right now. They're figuring out with Harbaugh and everything of that nature. They're figuring this whole thing out. I like the Chargers in this one. I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll be a wild card team with Harbaugh there and Herbert. He's helping Justin Herbert. Quinn Johnson is starting to look good in this offense now. I like the Chargers in this game.
You know what, Josh? Did you see what the Bengals did last week? Did you see wide receiver 1?
Yeah, I know. Well,
did you?
And they still lost.
Yes. Did you see Chase Brown catching passes out of the backfield?
Yeah.
Did you see T. Higgins may play this week? That to me, I think, is huge. 3 factors right there. If this game gets to be a shootout, give me the Bengals all day. And you know what? I think this game turns into a shootout. So you know what? Give me the Bengals by 3.
And speaking of shootouts, the state of Texas. 2 teams that are going through a lot right now with injuries galore. The Houston Texans travel to Jerry's World and go to Dallas to play the Dallas Cowboys. Now, earlier in the year, this looked like a sexy matchup. 2 teams that maybe could compete for a Super Bowl. Texans are going through the run of injuries right now. It's been tough. The Dallas season is flushed down the toilet. I think Houston is going to destroy them in this game. It's not going to be close, and Troy Aikman gets to sit there and watch it unfold. Give me the Texans by a lot. It's going to be a blowout unless C.J. Stroud plays to the opposition's level, which he does have a tendency to do at times.
I don't know. Call me crazy, but I see a quarterback change happening real soon in Dallas. That I think
Trey Lance. Ooh, that's going to scare people.
No, but you know what? It's going to be you're down by 20 by halftime. I think the second half, Trey Lance comes in. I think Stroud has his way with it. I think Mixon has a phenomenal game. Nico Collins should be back for this game. Possibly. We'll see what happens. Tank Dell.
So no Stephon Diggs out for the year.
Nope. Michi seemed to step up against Detroit last week.
Maybe I think Schultz could have a big game. This could be a kind of this is what you get for letting me go.
The only way it stays close is if Parsons meets Stroud in the backfield more. But
I think Parsons completely quit this season.
I don't see it happening.
I think Parsons quit on this season. Parsons, he quit. You could tell he threw McCarthy under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that he had to go on his podcast and explain his actions is embarrassing itself. Really? Come on. Go to the coach's office and talk to him about it. You don't have to go on your podcast and describe it.
Houston.
Yeah. And that is it for our NFL picks for the week. So we actually got through the whole week this week, so that's exciting. It's been a while. I wanted to get into a little bit of the college football conversation because we're starting to get down to the wire. So if the season ended today, the buys in the college football season are fascinating. Oregon, it would be the 1 seed. Texas would be the 2 seed. BYU, Zach Wilson's alma mater, would be the 3rd seed. And Miami would be the 4th seed. They would get buys. The matchups for them be Boise State at Ohio State, Notre Dame at Tennessee, Ole Miss at Penn State, and Alabama at Indiana. So when I see this, because I'm actually excited for this. Now I think the nil money. I think college sports in general is ruined. I think it's ruined. And you're starting to see the old guard of these coaches, the Nick Sabans of the world, the Mac Browns, who's going to probably retire soon. These old guards are officially coming out of the game because they don't want to deal with this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to have to go. The transfer portal, it's crazy. You get recruited, you're there for a year, then you're like, I'm out because I'm going to get more nil money somewhere else. I think college sports is completely washed. I think it's ruined. I think it's shot, and it's a disaster for the sport itself because of the whole no money. I understand these kids would need to get paid. I understand that. But there needs to be some kind of semblance and some kind of agreement in contracts that after a year you can't just go into the portal. Because the portal it's like when you get that top recruiting class, people are just like, who cares? It doesn't mean anything. Now these kids that they're not going to play, they're just going to go in the transfer portal anyway. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, I when I look at these matchups, I mean, I'm fine with the college football playoff expanding. The games in the first rounds would be at Ohio State, Tennessee, Penn State, Indiana. The Ole Miss Penn State game would be interesting, and the Notre Dame Tennessee game would be interesting. I think Alabama would just completely wipe the floor with Indiana. I think Ohio State would wipe the floor with Boise State. My thought process is, Eric, when you hear the teams that I said, who was a team on there that you go, that team 110% does not belong, and what's team on there that you say, guaranteed national championship contender?
Well, I think there's two I easily see going against each other in the finals there, and that's both Oregon and Ohio State. I think they're in a tier above.
Which kind of stinks when you actually look at it. It kind of stinks because they would only be able, right now with the rankings, they would only be able to meet in the semis. They wouldn't even be able to get the finals, which stinks.
Things can change. There's still a couple of games left. I think Ohio State finishes 2, Oregon finishes 1.
That would make it better.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you. I think that because, like the fact that, first off, the fact that Georgia's not even in this is absurd.
Indiana.
Well, Indiana's undefeated, and that's what are you going to do? But the fact that Georgia's not, I mean, Georgia's.
We saw a TCU team do this a couple of years back, right?
I just hate the fact that Notre Dame gets to be in it because they're an independent, and they get to be in it, but they're not allowed. I don't believe they're allowed to host a home game.
Mm-hmm.
But they're going to get one loss or no losses every year. And that, to me, is ridiculous that they're going to get in it almost every season. They don't deserve to be in it. Right now, they would get the floor wiped against Tennessee, in my opinion. Now, Ole Miss should be in it. I think they've earned it because they beat Georgia. But how is Georgia not in this thing?
But again, how many games left? 2, 3, if I'm not mistaken, right? If not more.
No,
I think it's 3 regular season plus the conference championship.
But I was going to say, who?
The rankings we say this week is going to be different next week. Easily. Different next week. Different after that.
Because, look at what Georgia did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Georgia this year, they went into Texas and beat Texas.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Texas is the 2 seed. Tell me how that makes any sense. Then they play Clemson, who at the time obviously was ranked. They are the 7. They beat them 34-3. I just don't understand how Georgia wouldn't be in this. Now I understand Alabama being in it. That's fair. That's fine. The only, like I said, the killer that happened with them is the Ole Miss game. Now, I think the Tennessee-Georgia game, I think the winner of this game, that could be who goes in and gets out. Because I think if Georgia, they're home against Tennessee. If they beat Tennessee and they wipe the floor with them, Tennessee's out.
Mm-hmm. And Georgia gets in.
Yeah, Georgia gets in. But do we not think Tennessee deserves to be in it too.
If
This
they
is the problem. They can't have all these SEC teams in it.
if they
This
lose
is the
to Georgia,
problem.
Tennessee has to beat Georgia, I think, to continue to be in it.
And again, this is why, because what they're trying to be fair, and they're trying to have these non-power conference teams in it. The BYUs, the Boise States. They want to give everybody a fair shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at like Tennessee beat Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just so impossible to like take all these SEC. But the problem is the SEC is so good, you would take 4 or 5 of them, and they can't do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to see like who has Indiana played so far before we move on and get to it. You're better than that. I want to see.
Even look at the Pac-12. Who from the Pac-12 is all of a sudden like, oh wow, powerhouse? There always used to be at least 1 or 2 teams, right?
There's only 2 teams left in the Pac-12.
That's literally. There's nobody left. But like, and the thing is, I'll give Indiana. So, looking at it right now, hold on. So what they've done so far, this is the impressive thing about what Indiana's done. Other than the Michigan game 2 weeks ago, they've wiped the floor with everybody. Right? They've literally destroyed everybody. Now they're going to Ohio State this week. There's a lot of good games this week, by the way, for college football. A lot. Tennessee, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State. To me, if Indiana loses this game to Ohio State, they're out. Right? I think you have to put them out. But then everybody's going to complain, oh, there's so many SEC teams. Because like when you look at what Indiana's done so far to start the year.
But there's going to be complaints regardless.
31-7, 77-3, 42-13, 52-14, 42-28, 41-24, 56-7, 31-17, 47-10. And then they had the 20-15 win against Michigan last week. So it's like
defense is playing phenomenal.
Yeah, but they really haven't played. Now they're playing somebody.
And this is the big test.
And they're in Ohio State too.
Boys, and you want to stay in the tournament?
If they beat Ohio State, they're getting in. If they beat Ohio State, I wouldn't be shocked if they move them up to the point where they give them a bye or something in one of in the rounds, and they maybe take Texas out. I don't know. I still have questions about Texas. I don't think the right quarterback is starting for them.
Who should be?
It should be Manning, not Ewers.
Mm-hmm.
But Ewers is a first round pick, so they're gonna start Ewers. We'll see what happens, but there's a lot of good games for. Hold on a second. I want to get to the college football schedule for this week before we get to You're Better Than That, because honestly, I'm looking at these games now. I'm just like, whoa. All right, hold on. I want to point out, like, no, not the conference. Give me the top 25. What are we doing here? All right, hold on a minute. I'll find it. Where are they? Okay, so top 25 matchups. Let me see. November 16th. Is that this week? Or is that the next week? Yeah, Tennessee's at Georgia this week. Okay, that's a good one. Isn't Indiana? Yeah, no. Oh, that's the following week they're playing them. Oh, that stinks. That's annoying. All right, well, no. Oh, I built it for no reason.
Unbelievable. Build up You're Better Than That instead, Josh.
You should. You know what? You should. And it's time. And it is time for the You're Better Than That segment. And for me, well, one, it should be about myself. That was embarrassing. But I take full responsibility for that and everything because that was brutal. But no, my You're Better Than That segment is as follows. I think what we all need to do is look at the NBA in-season tournament stuff as nonsense. I'm watching that Knicks 76er game the other night. Did you not feel blinded by that basketball court? It was hideous. I couldn't watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally, like, it was awful to the point of where I said to myself, It was ridiculous and embarrassing to watch. Like, you're trying to draw this tournament up. Nobody cares. Nobody has cared. The players win money. Good for them. What are they going to put a banner up? So to me, I think that was embarrassing to watch that 76er blue court, and it's going to get worse. Just put the regular courts down. They don't have to make it extravagant because you're not going to add. You're going to take people's eyes away because they're going to go blind by watching those courts. NBA, you are way better than that. Maybe. I still have doubts.
All right, Josh. That's a good one. I admit, that's a good one. I want to take you on another one here. Come walk with me. If you have arguably the number one wide receiver on your team, if he has 3 touchdowns in the game, if he has over 200 yards receiving, and you're going to put you're playing a division rival. You're really trying to win, right? Really, really propel your team. You have the stones to go for 2. Again, what's kept you in this game and in this position? The number one wide receiver that the defense cannot stop. And you're looking to pass the ball to a backup tight end by the goal line. Jamar Chase, where are you? I'm throwing the ball in your direction, your vicinity. You're going to catch it. I know you are. But no, you go for 2. I mean, not even going for 2. Like, okay, fine. You kick the field goal or you kick the extra point. You go into overtime. I think you still win that game if you're Cincinnati. But the fact that you don't go to your best guy who is having a career night against a team who cannot stop him, why? Why? Come on. You're better than that.
Check out our show every Thursday from 6 to 7. Of course, other great shows here like Jabba and the Mouth. Every single, is it Speedy, Monday and Wednesday or Tuesday, Wednesday?
Monday and Wednesday.
Monday and
We did
Wednesday.
Tuesday this
We
week.
did it, yes. Thank goodness Errol is feeling better, so we're happy about that. Every Monday and Wednesday. You could check out that great show with the crew, with Jabba Chamberlain, Errol Marks, Speedy Petey, Fish, Tommy Scoops, all of them, and check out the Weekend Crunch every Saturday at 7 p.m. or after the New York Islanders play on 103.9 FM, the LI News Radio Network. Snowman in the Morning, The Wise Guys, The Betting Show, and so much more. Check us out also on worldwidesportsradio.com, Instagram, YouTube, and all over social media platforms. Thank you to the fans out there for listening. Speedy, thank you as always as well. Eric, my friend, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you next week. This was a fun one. You know, it's really a tough time with sports and everything going. It's kind of like the slow downturn before it picks back up
Can
again.
you give me one favor, Speedy?
What?
Can we keep the receipt that Josh was all over how the Chiefs are going to lose and they lost their magic to all of a sudden? I agree.
I think you should save the receipt for the Matt Nagy hire. That's the bigger
Oh,
story.
yeah.
Oh, that's that's archived and
That's the bigger story. That's the bigger story because I'm so out at that point. But we'll talk to you all next Thursday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Take care. You've been listening and watching Game On live on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. Peace out.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.